So there's one character trait that I've seen in people who aren't in positions I envy in life, and I think it's lack of urgency. I think people who get things done, take extreme direction, and take risks, and improve their life over an extended period of time are people who react and act with extreme urgency in every area of their life. I think that people who never get to the destination are the kind of people who say things like, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll start later, I'll do it Monday. And the reason that's such a dangerous mindset is because it's a soft startup to quitting. And it's an aversion, it's a way that your mind makes up a version of quitting or not even starting that you'll accept, because it's not as loud and aggressive as, oh, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, I'm not doing what I know I should be doing, I'm quitting, or I'm not putting in effort towards myself. It's, I will do the thing, but I will do it later. And reality is, later never comes. And I don't know if any of you have seen Rocky, and the scene where Rocky's friend is telling him, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. Come on, Rocky. Like, what's the matter with you? And that's such a powerful scene, because Rocky is telling him, like, we'll do it tomorrow, man. We'll do it tomorrow. And he gets really aggressive and he yells at him. He says, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And obviously there is a tomorrow, logically speaking. But the mindset of that is so powerful, because it's a mindset where rent is due every single day. No one cares what you did yesterday. No one cares on what you plan to do tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. And on top of it, you should be living each and every day with the mindset of squeezing out as much potential as you possibly can. There's something my mentor always says, which is do all that can be done every day. And that's a lot different than working hard, or even working all day, working 16 hours a day, because it defines the amount of output that you're going to be putting in within those working periods. And I don't think that a lot of people have ever done all that can be done in one day, because it's such a high standard for your actions within a given day that if everyone did that, like, we wouldn't need self-help books, and we wouldn't need advice, we wouldn't need mentors, we wouldn't need coaches, because our action threshold would be so aggressive that most things would solve themselves. And I think that poor people just lack urgency. I think they lack urgency in everything. And I think the more money that somebody makes, or the more financially successful somebody is, the quicker that they do everything. And by everything, I mean everything, because a rich person, or someone with a lot of financial success, delegates almost all tasks that aren't directly correlated to their income or their success. And I think that's genius, because it increases the amount of bandwidth and stress tolerance that you have within your given domain. And once you've delegated all of the day-to-day average tasks that people do, like cooking, cleaning, driving, filling your car with gas, doing laundry, all that kind of stuff, and you just do the thing that gets you to where you want to go, it allows you it affords you I think the best word for it is bandwidth. It just affords you the amount of bandwidth that you need in order to be extremely aggressive within the social hierarchy that you're competing in. And I think that responding with that urgency while simultaneously delegating tasks that aren't contributing to the goal is what people who are in positions I want to be in do. And it makes sense, right? Like, once you make enough money, it makes sense to not clean or cook, because although it may sound shallow to some people, but quite literally it's just not worth your time. Why? If you make $100 an hour and you have dirty dishes in your sink, it makes sense to pay someone $20, $25, even $50, whatever, to clean those dishes, and you work that hour, because it's a net positive of $50 or $75, depending on what you paid that person to do that task, right? mindset would be like, well, you actually spent $25 or you spent $50, and if you would have just saved that money, you would be up 25, and you wouldn't have had to work to make the other 75, assuming that you paid them $25, right? But I think that's the difference. I think poor people talk themselves out of work, and I think richer people or financially successful people always talk themselves into doing the thing that they need to do, which is working and being aggressive and taking action. And again, that goes back to urgency. I think that every poor person I've ever met procrastinates like crazy. They always put things off. They always wait till the last second. They just react like life is forever. They live like life's just always gonna be here, and there's always gonna be another day. There's always all this time to take advantage of. And although that sounds like a positive mindset to have, it's extremely dangerous because you never get to doing the thing that you know you should be doing. And I think that a good example of this is like working weekends. You know, today's Saturday. I'm working all day. I'm going to work 6:30 to 10 o'clock. And usually I end up being there around 10:15 because at the job I work, the place closes at 10. You still have to clean up and do other things after that time. So I usually get out of there around 10:15, sometimes 10:30. So it's Saturday. It's Saturday night, it's Saturday day, whatever. It's the weekend, and I will be working all the hours of the day. And I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow, which is Sunday. And I do that every week. I sacrifice my weekends. I sacrifice potential free time. I sacrifice potential fun. Because I would rather work and exchange that time for money, because it increases the likelihood of achieving my goals. And for me, it's such a logic fail. It's such a misunderstanding why everybody doesn't do that. You know, especially at such a young age. We're in our 20s. We should be sacrificing as much time as we can to get to where we're trying to go. And we need to do that with urgency. And I just don't see why everybody doesn't think like that. You have 7 days a week. Why do you need 2 days off? For what? Like, genuinely, what do you need those days off for? So you can watch a football game? You can watch other people win at their life and do what they want to do? Excuse me. I just don't understand. I see it as such a waste of time, you know? I kind of say this jokingly, but sometimes I'll make fun of people I know. I'm like, why do you want to wear, you know, just to give an example, why do you want to wear a jersey with another man's name on it? Pay money or watch a game that he's playing and bet money on that person to either win or fail and watch that game. You're investing your time, money, and effort into another man's success, when you could be spending all that time, money, and effort into investing into your own success and taking bets on whether you win or fail. And I think the average kind of response to that kind of statement is, bro, it's not that serious. It's just a football game. It's just a soccer game. It's just a basketball game. And it's like, no, I get that, but it's just your life. It's just your life. Because all you have is time. All we have is time. And if you're willing to give your time away so easily, so cheaply, for something that doesn't directly contribute to your goals whatsoever, then that means you just don't value your time. You don't value it. And because the older you get, the less time you have. Because in comparison to how long you've been alive, each year becomes shorter by percentage. Because when you're 5 years old and you turn 6, that year before turning 6, 1 year was 25%, or sorry, it would have been about, doing quick math here, it would have been like 15 to 20% of your life. So 1 year takes a long time. But then you turn 6, and then you turn 7, and a year becomes a lot less long in relative to your current age, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is, the younger we are, the more urgent we need to be or at least it's my perspective, that the younger I am, the more urgent and aggressive I need to be in exchange of my time for money in the short term, so that in the long term I can exchange leverage and skills for money in the long term. You know, and I think it's a continuous game where you continue to exchange time for money, and then you exchange money for skills and information, and then you spend your time mastering the skill through the information that you've learned, and you hire coaches and mentors to criticize and critique your efforts so you can get better and better and better. And it's like a video game, and I think that we should all take that route, or at least I know that's what I want to do. And I just don't understand why you would want to do anything else. Like, what else is there better to do with your time than work as much as you can? And even saying something as simple as that statement reminds me of a video I was listening to at work a few weeks back by Jordan Peterson. And he was talking about temperamental differences in people. And he was talking about agreeableness and disagreeable people. And he was saying, you know, if you're an agreeable person, that means you want a relationship. You want a long-term relationship. Because that leads to your happiness and your fulfillment. What else did he say? I think the premise was, if you're an agreeable person, you want a long-term relationship. If you're an extroverted person, then you want a lot of friends. And if you're disagreeable, then you want to win. And I remember when he said that last statement, he said, when you're disagreeable, you want to win. I just started busting out laughing, because I was like, I don't really care about friends, and I certainly don't care about having, at least currently, I don't care about having a long-term relationship. Like, it'd be nice to have one, but it's not a priority, right? And I can't say care about something when my daily actions aren't aligned with that outcome. So I can say, yeah, I want a long-term relationship, but none of my current actions are aligned with wanting that outcome. So I can't really say by behavior that I want that. And I started laughing when he said disagreeable people just want to win, because that's how I felt. I'm like, that's exactly me. And I was like, no, I don't really want friends. No, I don't really want a long-term relationship. At least currently, right? Those things are bonuses. I like people, and I do enjoy having company. I'm not saying that at all, but when he said disagreeable people just want to win, I was like, that's me right there. I just want to win. I just want to compete, and I'm willing to sacrifice a lot to compete against other people to win. And then he goes on to say, there's a small substrata of men who are willing to sacrifice and work flat out 80 hours a week to compete in their given domain amongst their social hierarchy. And he said those people are the people who win, and those are the people who run things, because they get so brutally competent so fast that within a few years there's no possible way that you can ever catch up. Because most people work 40 hours a week, and every single week they work 2 weeks to year one, and their output is significantly higher because they're more aggressive and they're more competent. And that's the way I want to do it. And I work closer to 90 than 80, but excuse me. But anyways, the first thing I thought of this morning for some reason was just urgency and the importance of taking action quickly, and how I do my best to implement that consistently in my life and what I'm doing. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know below if you like the raw talks in my car better, or if you like to sit down on my couch better once I get off of work and I take a shower and that kind of thing. But these ones are just top of mind. It's literally like the first thing in my morning after getting up, like 5 minutes after waking up. I come in my car and I drive to work, and I make these videos. So until tomorrow,